Alright, so our margin of error, when we've looked at this so far, margin of error is just kind of this zone. We've talked about this. It can be small or it can be large. And we have a little bit of control in having a desired margin of error by changing our sample size. Okay, that's really the only thing that we get to pick or determine ever in any type of problem so far is really just our sample size. Okay, so we want a desired margin of error, whether it be big or small, before we start. So before we start a problem, we aren't going to have a p-hat yet, right? So to solve these things, you are going to have your margin of error formula, okay? Whatever your z-star is, whatever your desired confidence interval, and you get to guess, because we won't have started the process yet. You are going to have to guess what a good, p value, good population value would be, or p-hat, whatever you want to think about that as. We're going to want to guess that before we get going down here. So sometimes you will have had prior knowledge, like from last year, maybe last year's tax records show, what proportion of the population, did something. Okay. So we can use that from the past, or if we have no idea, which a lot of times I have no idea what a good guess would be, we are going to use 0.5. Thing about this is this will guarantee you the right margin of error. It'll give you what you want or less. Okay, it'll guarantee it at what you want or less. It's not super exact. Okay, so looking at this, let's just see a problem. Put it to use. Might make a little bit more sense when we look at it this way. So it says you would like to take a sample to estimate the proportion of people who like Papa John's. We're looking at proportions of people that like Papa John's. You would like to be 90% confident. Well, that's kind of nice. 90% confident that you have a margin error of 4 or less. What sample size guarantees this? So I'm looking for my sample size. I'm going to have to take this and solve for n. So again, we always want to start with our formula, FNA. My formula here is margin of error, z star, and then since I want a particular margin of error, I'm going to use p guess times 1 minus p guess over n. Okay, the margin of error, we're going to plug in some numbers that we want. We want it to be 4% or less, so I'm going to put 4% here for margin of error. It says 90% confident. When you think of 90% confident, we've done this quite a few times previously in our notes. Our z-star that's going to show up